move a little bit because the rays are coming from your window, which is kind of shading your or.
Okay, live.
YouTube, please. Yeah.
All right, Ritu, go ahead.
Good morning and good evening to the members and supporters of Ibadat Khana
Rays are coming from your window.
on its
kind of.
second anniversary. I feel honored and I hope you all are. In just 2 years, Ibadat Khana has made its mark through constructive, free, and open dialogue. Ibadat Khana's guiding principle is based on a conviction that democracy is the best known form of government to promote peace and prosperity, and the state should be governed by the rule of law. The movement is the result of a collective effort of conscious individuals inspired by humanity, secularism, and is geared towards upholding the dignity of the people of all religions and races. Thank you all for being part of our open forum. Since past year, Ibadat Khana has hosted and highlighted several key issues ranging from farm bills and farmers' a perspective, COVID-19 pandemic in India, lesson learned and future directions, Israel-Palestine conflict and peace prospects, and muzzle on social media by the Indian government, cyber surveillance and human rights crisis, and the last forum we hosted was the rise of Taliban and the fall of democracy. So today's topic is Reflection 2021, which our esteemed speakers are going to discuss, share, and reflect their thoughts in a healthy way. Mr. Naren?
All right. Thanks, Ritu. It indeed was a happening year where we started talking about the farmers' bill. Rakesh Tikat and Ajit Anjum, they shared the challenges faced by the farmers. And we are so delighted that that long struggle paid off. And it did prove that the people's voices matter. Other striking issue we discussed was COVID-19, where speakers like Maya Vishkarma and Vivek Tankha, they shared really some nerve-wracking challenges faced by the people during the pandemic. Hope people are vaccinated because we have another version or variant on the way. So hope if people are feeling better. And also we had some great dialogue on Israel-Palestine conflict, where we had experts like Saba Naqvi, Professor Faizan Mustafa, and Sai Kivati shared their views. And are vaccinated because we have another. And then we also talked about cyber surveillance with a great insight from Ravish Kumar and Majid Menon. So it was such a great, wonderful year where we could really talk about a lot of topical issues. Other thing I want to call is we are very pleased to share that our Ibadat Khana website is up and running. So do go and check out ibadatkhana.com. And you can find a lot of great information as well as the videos and the blogs for the events we had. So please do check it out. And now I invite our chairman, Tasawwur Jalali, to set the stage and introduce our esteemed guest speakers.
Thank you, Ritu and Naren. Appreciate the intro. So since we're running a little late, so I'm going to try to keep it to the point. We have several esteemed guests today. Like we said, we're going to pretty much review, recap 2021 and the events we had. We have several guests which were the previous speakers on the webinars and the shows. We have with us Justice Markandeya Kaju, the retired Chief Justice from India. and he is also the patron for Ibadat Khana. We have with us Mr. Pankaj Chaturvedi and Shai Kavidi and Mr. Saeed Naqvi. They will be, Mr. Naqvi is still to join. But just to get started, I'd like to bring Justice Kaju and have him speak on, recap all the issues and current concerns. And only thing I request is to keep your thoughts to 5 minutes, max 3 to 5 minutes, because that will allow us to give open the dialogue after and leave time for Q&A. So Justice Kaju, to you.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody in America. Good morning, everybody in India. Greetings to all of you on the second anniversary of the foundation of Ibadat Khana, our organization whose object is to promote interfaith harmony, mutual respect for all religions, tolerance, and spreading the message of equality. This organization has become all the more important today, particularly in the Indian subcontinent. Countries like India, Pakistan, Bangladesh are witnessing an increase in religious intolerance and spreading of hatred by certain groups. And this is very bad because this harms the country, it stops progress of the people. Recently, you all may have seen on the social media the killing of a Sri Lankan in the town of Sialkot in Pakistan, because he removed a poster in his factory of which he was the general manager, and he was lynched. Such incidents are increasing, and the time has come to oppose them if we want progress for the country. So because I'm living in the Indian subcontinent, I know more of it. Shai Kavidi, I think, if I pronounce your name correctly. You know more about the Middle East. You will be telling us about the situation there, but I suppose there also is the need for an organization like Ibadat Khana, which spreads the message of mutual respect for all religions, tolerance, and brotherhood, and opposes any groups or vested interests who incite hatred or religious intolerance. We are spreading the message of the great Mughal Emperor Akbar. I would request you to read about him on
version
Google.
or variant on the way. So hope the people are.
The great Mughal Emperor Akbar, who lived between 1542 and 1605, he preached religious tolerance, respect for all religions. In his court, there were Hindus, although he was a Muslim, he appointed Hindus to very high posts like Raja Todar Mal and Man Singh and Birbal. And there were Christians and Jains and Sikhs and people of all religions in this. They used to collect in a building called Ibadat Khana. That is why we have given this name to our organization. It is this Ibadat Khana is the name of a building in the capital of the Mughal Empire, which was at that time a place called Fatehpur Sikri. If you go on Google, you can see the building. It still stands today, where scholars of all religions would come and discuss the good points in their religions. This is a unique building. You will not find it anywhere in the world. There are churches where Christians come. There are mosques where Muslims come. There are synagogues where Jews come. There are temples where Hindus come. But you will not find anywhere in the world a building where people of all religions come and discuss peacefully in a friendly way. This is a unique building, and this was built at a time when in Europe religious massacres were taking place, Catholics killing Protestants and vice versa, and both killing the Jews and so on. At that time, Mughal Emperor Akbar preached the message of respect for all religions, called Sulh-e-Kul. That is the name he gave. Sulh-e-Kul means respect for all religions, total tolerance of all religions. So with these words, I once again congratulate Ibadat Khana for doing good work in the last 2 years. Thank you.
Thank you, Kaji Saab. Irfan, to you, please take on. Irfan, you're muted.
Sorry about that. Thank you, Tasawwur, and thank you, Mr. Karju. So let me introduce you Pankaj Chaturvedi, who is a senior, very, very senior journalist from Delhi. He's worked in the Delhi Express, and Pankaj, correct me, and Jan Satta, I think you have worked, and you are a freelance columnist who keeps eye on all the burning issues, all the current topics, current affairs. So we'll talk, Pankaj, about a couple of topics, especially as you guys are aware that the farmers' agitation, and then the currency, all the development, when the government, Indian government has repealed all the 3 laws. So where are we going from here? तो बात करेंगे पंकज जी से उसके बारे में. पंकज जी ग्राउंड पे बहुत सारे कॉलम भी लिखते हैं और ग्राउंड पे रहते हैं, हमेशा नजरें रखते हैं अपनी उन सब न्यूज़ पे. Tasawwur, do you want to talk about another topic first and take Mr. Shai, or you want to start with Mr. Pankaj?
No, let Mr. Pankaj start and then Mr. Shai will take on.
Pankaj ji, let me ask you a question. तो अभी जो situation है और बहुत सारी जो किसान मोर्चा और जो गवर्नमेंट के बीच में जो डिस्कशन चल रही है अभी, और सुनने में आ रहा है, और जो जितने भी न्यूज़ आ रही हैं कि कुछ तो डील हुई है उनके बीच में, एंड देन अभी एजिटेशन खत्म होने जा रही है. Considering the fact that we have elections in 5 states in India, including UP. UP is very, very crucial. And I think people are, as per the news and people perception, they think that government repealed these bills only because of UP election. आपका क्या सोचना है इसके बारे में? और कहाँ से, यहाँ से किस तरफ फार्मर्स के लिए आगे का रास्ता क्या है?
सबसे पहले तो इबादत खाना के सभी मेरे दोस्तों को बहुत बहुत नमस्कार, दुआ सलाम. और
Can you get me?
Naqvi साहब, very, very welcome. We can see you.
Yeah, okay.
ये जो मंच है, भारतीय उपमहाद्वीप के जो देश हैं उनके बीच में एक रेगिस्तान में नखलिस्तान की तरह है, जहाँ पर एक ठंडी बयार है, जहाँ पे सुकून है, पीस की बात है और कंस्ट्रक्टिव सजेशंस की बात है. तो आप सब लोगों का शुक्रिया. काटजू साहब, सईद नकवी साहब को देख रहा हूँ, सबको नमस्कार. और जहाँ तक फॉर्म बिल की बात रही, आज़ादी हिंदुस्तान की बहुत संघर्ष से मिली, और आज़ादी के बाद जितने डेवलपमेंट हुए वो भी बहुत संघर्ष के साथ हुए. लेकिन दुर्भाग्य से इमरजेंसी के बाद में इस देश में मुझे ऐसा लगा कि बड़े हिस्से में बात आ गई थी कि जन आंदोलन नाम से कोई बदलाव नहीं होते. राजनीतिक आंदोलन छोटे मोटे हुए. मैं अयोध्या के आंदोलन को जन आंदोलन नहीं मानता हूँ, इसलिए उसका जिक्र नहीं करूंगा. बीच में वीपी सिंह का एक कैंपेन था और केजरीवाल ने भी एक कैंपेन किया, लेकिन मैं धरातल पर आकर उनकी कोई हकीकत नहीं दिखी, उनकी कथनी और करनी में फर्क दिखा. एक दुर्भाग्य है कि जिस देश की तकदीर किसान लिखता है, जिस देश की आधे से ज्यादा आबादी का जीविकोपार्जन का, खाने पीने का, रोजगार का जरिया खेती होता है, वो खेती कभी भी इस देश की सियासत के केंद्र में नहीं रही. हम लोगों ने किसानों को बस ग्रांटेड लिया. इसमें कोई शक नहीं है कि हर आंदोलन के पीछे कुछ राजनीति होती है, कुछ नीतियां होती हैं, कुछ योजनाएं होती हैं, और कुछ ना कुछ उसके पीछे एक निहित स्वार्थ या निहित उद्देश्य होते हैं। ये हर आंदोलन के साथ होता है, लेकिन ये बात भी तय है कि 1 साल के लंबे स्पैन में किसान आंदोलन ने अपने आप को जहां तक संभव हुआ राजनीति के अखाड़ों से दूर रखा। एक चीज, जहां तक उनका सरकार का खिलाफत करने का उद्देश्य है, उसको हम राजनीति इसलिए नहीं कह सकते क्योंकि आप मांग सरकार से कर रहे हो, आपकी असहमति सरकार से है, तो आप उसके खिलाफ तो अपना विरोध, अपना गुस्सा दिखाएंगे ही। और गुस्से का डेमोक्रेसी में सबसे बड़ा तरीका यही होता है कि हम वोट की चोट देते हैं। जहां तक किसान आंदोलन के मौजूदा हालात की बात रही, ये बात तय है कि 1 साल के लंबे आंदोलन से लोग जो बैठे थे वो एक उम्मीद से बंधे थे, और 3 के कृषि कानून वापिस होने से उनकी उम्मीदें और बढ़ी थी। ये बात भी सही है कि दुनिया का कोई भी आंदोलन आज तक 100% रिजल्ट लेके नहीं आया, लेकिन इस आंदोलन का 50% हिस्सा 3 कृषि कानून को लेकर था, जिसके कारण किसानों को आतंकवादी, कनाडा से फंडिंग, खालिस्तानी, पाकिस्तानी, कम्युनिस्ट सब कुछ सहना पड़ा, लेकिन वो बिल वापिस हुए। इसके बाद में जो भी किसानों की मूलभूत मांगे हैं, एमएसपी को लेकर उस पर चर्चा हो रही है, उन पे मुकदमे वापस लेने की बात है, उसको लोग एग्री कर रहे हैं। उनके साथ में जो उनको मुआवजे की बात है, उस पर भी सहमति हो रही है। जाहिर है कि ये सब दबाव जनता के दबाव में ही होता है, और जनता का दबाव इस समय काम कर रहा है, और इसने नजीर कायम की है कि यदि आप लंबे समय तक अपने मसले पर डटे रहते हैं तो आपको जीत जरूर मिलती है। मैं इस मसले पर सीए एनआरसी आंदोलन का भी जिक्र करना चाहूंगा, जो हिंदुस्तान में बहुत ही सेकुलर और बहुत ही डेमोक्रेटिक तरीके से चला था, लेकिन दुर्भाग्य से कोविड के नाम पे और दिल्ली राइट्स के नाम पर उसको खत्म किया गया और उसकी खूबसूरती को नष्ट किया गया। मुझे लगता है कि सीए एनआरसी आंदोलन से जुड़े जो लोग थे, उनके लिए एक केस स्टडी है कि आखिर किस स्तर पर किसान आंदोलन 1 साल तक अपनी मुकाम की ओर बढ़ता रहा, और उसमें जितने 26 जनवरी वाला जो इंसिडेंट था, वो जाहिर है कि नॉर्थ ईस्ट दिल्ली के दंगों से कम नहीं था, लेकिन उसके बावजूद भी वो खड़े रहे। एक सवाल और कोई नहीं, मेरी बेटी जो लॉयर है वो कई बार कहती है कि दादा आप जो कहते हो वो बात सही है, लेकिन हकीकत ये है कि चूंकि इस देश में मुसलमान को आवाज उठाना थोड़ा कठिन होता है, इसीलिए सीए एनआरसी आंदोलन के साथ ये हुआ। खैर, मैं थोड़ा सा ट्रैक से अलग जा रहा हूँ, लेकिन मैं एक चीज कहना चाहूंगा कि इस देश के किसानों के लिए भी आने वाले रास्ते बहुत कठिन है। जब किसान आंदोलन चरम पर था, उसके बावजूद मध्य प्रदेश, उत्तर प्रदेश सहित के राज्यों में एक एक बोरी यूरिया के लिए मैंने किसानों को लाठी खाते और मरते हुए देखा है। मैंने आज जो सबसे बड़ा संकट किसान के सामने है, वो 3 किस्म के संकट जो इस देश के किसानों के सामने खड़े हैं, जो शायद कृषि कानून बिल और एमएसपी के आने के बावजूद ही खड़े रहेंगे। पहला है जलवायु परिवर्तन का खतरा। जलवायु परिवर्तन के खतरे में जिस प्रकार से एक्सट्रीम बारिश और एक्सट्रीम सूखे और एक्सट्रीम टेम्परेचर की बात है, उसके बाद में हमारे एग्रीकल्चर का जो साइकिल है, चक्र है, उसको बदलने की एक बहुत बड़ी संभावना दिख रही है। और जो रेन फेडेड एग्रीकल्चर है, उसके ऊपर इसका बहुत विपरीत असर होगा। अकेले रेन फेडेड पे नहीं, जहां पर कैनाल से या ग्राउंड वाटर का एग्रीकल्चर अवेलेबल है, वो इलाके भी बहुत ज्यादा एक चुनौतीपूर्ण होंगे, क्योंकि ग्राउंड वाटर के इलाके में हम लोग पूरे देश के अंदर बड़े हिस्से को ब्लैक जोन के रूप में अब कर चुके हैं। और खास तौर पे जो एग्रीकल्चर ओरिएंटेड स्टेट्स है, हरियाणा और पंजाब, उसके अंदर ग्राउंड वाटर ऑलमोस्ट खत्म हो गया है, और वहां की पोजीशन ये है कि अब वहां पर ग्राउंड वाटर खत्म होने के बाद में डेजर्ट का एक्सपांशन हो रहा है। एक जो खतरा जलवायु परिवर्तन का, जिसके कारण किसान अभी शायद बहुत बड़ी संख्या में अनभिज्ञ हैं। दूसरा ये है कि फार्मलैंड का खत्म होना। आजादी के बाद से अभी तक हम लोग केवल नदियों और अलग तरीके से कटावों से लेकर के कारण मध्य प्रदेश और छत्तीसगढ़ राज्य के क्षेत्रफल के बराबर की धरती को खो चुके हैं, जो खत्म हो गई। देयर इज नो लैंड एट ऑल ड्यू टू द इरोजन और अदर कॉजेस। सेकेंडली, जितना भी सो कॉल्ड डेवलपमेंट प्रोजेक्ट इस मुल्क में चल रहे हैं, वो डेवलपमेंट प्रोजेक्ट बंजर या ऊसर जमीन को डेवलप करने के बाद नहीं हो रहे हैं, जहाँ पर एग्रीकल्चर लैंड है उसी के ऊपर कर रहे हैं। हम देख सकते हैं दिल्ली एनसीआर के आसपास जहां पर भी सो कॉल्ड डेवलपमेंट हुआ, गुड़गांव, ग्रेटर नोएडा, नोएडा, फरीदाबाद, वो सभी 40 साल पहले तक एग्रीकल्चर लैंड हुआ करते थे।
So Pankaj ji, just if I may ask you a supplement question before we move forward to another guest. अभी जो सिचुएशन है, और मुझे लगता है कि आज या कल में जो ये फार्मर एजुटेशन है ये खत्म होने जा रही है बेस्ड अपॉन द गवर्नमेंट, जो भी ऑफिशियल्स हैं या जो ग्रुप किसान मोर्चा ने बनाया उनके बीच में बातचीत की। अभी यूपी इलेक्शन का पे क्या इम्पैक्ट होगा इसका? व्हाट डू यू सी, व्हाट आर द इम्प्लीकेशंस?
देखिए, यूपी इलेक्शन में किसान आंदोलन का जो एक असर था वो मूल रूप से
पंजाब, यू कैन इंक्लूड पंजाब एज वेल, पंजाब को भी आप शामिल करिए।
पंजाब में पहले यूपी की बात करता हूँ। यूपी का जो तराई वाले 5 जिले थे जहाँ पे सिख डोमिनेटिंग इलाका है, और उत्तरांचल का जो उधम सिंह नगर से लेकर और हमारा जो मौजूदा चीफ मिनिस्टर हैं उनका विधानसभा क्षेत्र खटीमा तक है, सितारगंज से लेकर खटीमा तक, ये पूरा सिख डोमिनेटिंग इलाका, और यहाँ पर किसान एजुटेशन बहुत ज्यादा ताकतवर में था। दूसरा था जाट बेल्ट में, जिसको वेस्टर्न यूपी हम कहते हैं, जहाँ पर टिकैत का असर है। इन इलाकों को लेकर कुल मिलाकर यहाँ से 403 में से करीबन 72 सीटें इससे इफेक्ट हो रही थी उत्तर प्रदेश की। ऑब्वियसली पंजाब तो पूरा इम्पैक्ट में ही है, और उत्तरांचल की भी 6 सीटों पर इसका असर है। तो जाहिर है कि सरकार ने उन एजिटेशंस को देखते हुए इसको किया। अभी सरकार के जो लोग सत्ता में बैठे उनके साथ सबसे बड़ी दिक्कत थी कि जिन इलाकों में कृषि कानून के विरोध में आंदोलन था, वहां पे सत्ताधारी पार्टी के नेता अंदर नहीं घुस पा रहे थे। वहां पर रोज कन्फ्लिक्ट हो रहे थे, मारापीटी हो रही थी। जाहिर है कि जहाँ कन्फ्लिक्ट होगा तो वो अपनी बात को भी नहीं कह पाएंगे। उनको लगा कि कम से कम हमें घुसने का मौका तो मिले, और जाहिर है कि उनका असर ये है। लेकिन जब मैं किसानों की तरफ से बात करता हूँ, तो किसानों ने जो 1 साल में जो जख्म सहे हैं, अपने लोगों को खोया है, गालियां खाई हैं, और आपको एक चीज और बताऊं कि बहुत छोटे किसान हैं जिन्होंने अपनी खेती में भी इस आंदोलन के कारण अपना नुकसान सहा है। वो सब लोगों के लिए जख्म भरना इतना सरल नहीं है। लेकिन आप जानते हैं कि हिंदुस्तान में जो सियासत है या चुनाव है, वो मुद्दों से अलहदा हो जाते हैं चुनाव के कुछ दिनों पहले।
तो ये आपने बात जो हिंदुस्तान में सियासत और चुनाव और मुद्दों की बात की है, एक और टॉपिक है आपके पास आएंगे, but I'll go back to Tasawwur and then take the next topic and next guest. Pankaj ji, stay here because हमें बात करेंगे एक दूसरा एक टॉपिक है जिसके बारे में हमने पहले वेबिनार किया था. We just want to follow up on what's going on, what's the current situation. So stay. Yes.
Okay, thank you, Irfan. Thank you, Pankaj ji. It's a pretty good insight. बहुत शुक्रिया, और welcome, Mr. Naqvi. Please give us a moment. We'll come to you. We have an esteemed guest with us, Shai Kavidi. He has been a previous speaker on our show. Shai holds a master's in public administration from Harvard and an MBA from Wharton. Shai served as in the Israeli Defense Forces for 9 years and has won 2015 Israeli Defense Award, which is the Israel's highest security award. Today, Shai serves as a company commander in reserves of the IDF, of the 7th Armored Brigade. Now, there is a long history of anti-Semitism, hostile actions, discrimination against Jews as a religious and ethnic community. Prosecution of this ethnic group has continued for centuries, starting the Roman Emperor Tiberius and Claudius. However, Jews have been a majority population in the state of Israel between 1st and 4th century AD in the land of Palestine, followed by Christian majority between 5th and 11th century, and then by Muslims between 12th and 14th century. The three monotheistic religions have been fighting over the land for the last 2,000 years. Now we're going to ask Shai to give his perspective if the two-state solution is going to be necessary, or if one-state solution is ever possible. Shai, to you.
Yeah, sure, and thank you for having me here for a second time. It is always a privilege since I only have 5 minutes, and this is a topic where many of my colleagues have completed a PhD on it, and I feel we can talk about the Israeli-Palestinian conflict for so much longer. I'm just going to try and give a brief overview and update you guys on what has happened since the last time we spoke. So I'm going to focus on 3 main areas. The first is what's going on in the Israeli side. The second is what is going on the Palestinian side. And the third is some global or Middle Eastern dynamics that has a deep, tremendous effect on the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, mainly the Abraham Accords and the peace process between Israel and Arab countries. So if we start with the Israeli side, Israel, since we last spoke, Israel assembled a new government. So Benjamin Netanyahu has been ousted from power, which is a dramatic shift within Israel. He has ruled for over a decade. This government, not only that it is not ruled by the right, it is a bipartisan government. So it has representatives from all the political spectrum, from the extreme left to the extreme right, which means that there are a lot of parties within the government that care deeply about resolving the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. But it also means that there is not a lot that many people can do because, to maintain the government functioning, there needs to be a focus on the status quo. And therefore, this government doesn't have the mandate to do any large political global steps on that specific topic if it wants to function throughout its duration. Having said that, this government focuses a lot on economy and economic growth, and the Israeli high-tech sector has been booming to a point where it has a huge shortage of labor and specifically talented engineers. And there are a few initiatives meant to train and give permits for Palestinians to work in Israeli tech companies in order to A, help resolve that shortage, and B, incentivize economic growth on the Palestinian Authority. So that's the situation on the Israeli front. Again, not a lot of mandate to do big dramatic steps forward, but there is a lot of hope to do stuff on the economic side. On the Palestinian front, I'm not as optimistic. So as you might very well know, the Palestinian Authority is divided between 2 different political entities, Hamas and the PLO. The PLO rules the West Bank and Hamas rules the Gaza Strip. Since none of them has the mandate or the authority to negotiate on behalf of the other, there is really no one entity that you can negotiate with. Abbas, who's the ruler of the Palestinian Authority, is nearing the end of his, I want to say tenure, but actually the end of his life. He's getting pretty old. There is no successor in sight. And if you look at the grassroots, Hamas has the popular vote. Now Hamas is a recognized terrorist organization whose charter calls for the destruction of the state of Israel. So maintaining the Palestinian Authority in power as long as possible is in the interest of both Israel and the regional peace. There are still issues with education materials within the Palestinian education system, calling for anti-Semitism and destruction and killing of Jews. There are still issues with economic incentives where if you kill an Israeli, your family gets a pension for life. So there are still a lot of structural issues within the economic authority that they need to resolve. If we take a step back and talk about the regional dynamics, there I'm much more optimistic. So as you know, the Abraham Accords basically meant the start of a normalization process between Israel and Arab countries, the United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, Oman, Morocco, and Sudan. Hopefully a few others are going to join. And that is a huge shift in the context of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, because up until now, whenever Israel wanted to reach to the Arab countries in the Middle East, it had to go through the Palestinians. And now the Arab countries of the Middle East want economic and diplomatic ties with Israel, regardless of the Palestinians. And it means that they can leverage their current and growing economic ties with Israel to put stress, to put emphasis with the Palestinians on how to move forward in the negotiation. So they become a party that can actually talk to both sides and move both sides forward. And I believe that that is the one way we can actually move forward. Another part of the Abraham Accords is that most experts, and me including, don't believe that Saudi Arabia will join the Abraham Accords until there is peace between Israel and the Palestinians. And Israel really wants Saudi Arabia to join the Abraham Accords, and that's a huge incentive. So if we look at that, though that regional dynamics really brings forth a new potential for an avenue to move forward to a two-step solution, new negotiations based on economic ties. And hopefully in the next few years, we're going to see some interesting development in the region.
All right, thank you, Shai. That was pretty brief, and appreciate you being to the 5 minutes. Before we just hand it over to Mr. Naqvi, Irfan, you want to kind of introduce Mr. Naqvi and take it from there?
Sure. So thank you, Mr. Naqvi. Thanks for joining. I did not think he needs an introduction, but the people who do not know him, let me just tell some brief information about Mr. Naqvi. He's a senior journalist, television commentator, and then he interviewed world leaders and personalities in India and abroad, which appears in newspapers, magazine, and on national televisions and World Report. He also have written several publications, including Indian and the Global, BBC and the Sunday Observer and Sunday Times are a few of them. He also have written some articles for The Guardian, Washington Post, and Indian Express. And I welcome Mr. Naqvi. So question for you, sir. People say that, there are two most critical state when it comes to the world peace. One is that Mr. Shai was talking about, the Israel and Palestine conflict. On Indian side, we all know that Kashmir is very, very critical for India. And then we have history. Even though we have, there were some actions on August 5th in 2019 when they abolished this 370. What do you think about the current situation? What happened after that? What are the after effects of removing that 370? What are the impact on, what do you think that, the people of Kashmir got, after Indian government removed Section 370?
May I, with your permission, go back a little bit, because my colleague from India, who spoke so well and so comprehensively on the farmers' agitation and its effect, there's nothing more that one can add to it except one fact, which also links up with your question and the subsequent question, which is what? The farmers' agitation succeeded and is succeeding despite, that's the important point, despite the media, which completely, not totally, but except there were little outlets here and there, but the media, which was silence on it, because it was much more playing the government side. So it says something. Globally and internally, a media which begins to lose its credibility, then things happen despite it. You see, so far, the impression has been that the entire Vatavaran, the entire atmosphere, the atmospherics, and the direction of events is controlled by a huge cacophony that our media has become. It controls the trend. This is one of the world's big mass movements which completely succeeded despite the media. That is an important dimension to the whole thing. And I dare say that will affect the Israel-Palestinian thing also. You see, this monopoly of the global means of informing people, they are beginning to lose their credibility. And that's a long subject. I could give you a whole lecture. Why is it that they're doing it? Is a long subject. I can dilate on it. But Kashmir, again, the national media doesn't talk about it, you see. You talked about 370 and the bifurcation of the state. It has created national problems for us because Tibet, Chinese are sitting in eastern Tibet. Tibet, they have raised as an issue of sovereignty. So things that which was a bilateral and a trilateral thing between India, Pakistan, and Kashmir, and now the Chinese are in it, you see. So the issues have become a little more complicated as far as that is concerned. People of Kashmir, I don't want to talk about it because I'm pained. We have been very bad with them. We have treated them quite as badly as the Palestinians have been treated in some. But at least the Palestinians shoot rockets. Here there's nothing. And there is an acquiescence and waiting that something will turn up. A large military contingent is in that territory. We have not been able to win the hearts and minds of the people. What is going on in their minds, we do not know. The question of Kashmiri Pandits comes in. Now that links up in a way with your next subject, namely Afghanistan. Because don't forget that in 1989-90, the Americans picked up their bags from Afghanistan and left because the Soviet Union had been evicted from Afghanistan, as it were. And all those mujahideen, the sort of high voltage Islam, had been left there, created by Americans, Saudis, and the Pakistanis. They were part of that whole project for their own reasons, but that again is a digression. They packed up their bags, and what this spare talent did, it moved into Kashmir, it moved to Egypt, it moved to Algeria. So you had this crawling, the Mujahideen found work elsewhere. That itself is yet another subject that you should discuss. The militancy as an asset. This became an issue during the Syrian episode. Anyway, now what I'm saying is that today, Kashmir, the biggest thing that has come out, according to me, from the farmers' agitation and the Prime Minister's response. Of course, the Prime Minister responded because the UP elections are on, because other elections. Whatever the compulsions, he indicated one thing. He is supposed to be very strong. He's supposed to be immovable. He's supposed to be uncompromising. He's supposed to be hard. He's supposed to be tough. He's even supposed to be obstinate. And yet, he resigned. The signal to me is an important one. The Prime Minister can, under circumstances, change. CHANGE. And are those circumstances upon us? Regionally, the whole question of Afghanistan comes up. Now, I'll tell you how. Sometimes political events change geography. It's a new concept. I'll give you an example. From 1947, Indian foreign policy consisted in neutralizing Pakistan. There were two states, and Pakistan was neutralizing us, and we were neutralizing them in global fora. In 1971, something strange happened. Pakistan got bifurcated. Bangladesh came up. It changed the geography of subcontinent. India became a big country surrounded by small countries, and each one of them had a China card in their pockets. And exactly that has happened in Afghanistan. Now look at it this way. Imagine a tennis racket. The guts of it, the net, imagine that to be Afghanistan. The rim, Iran, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan is not there, but they're doing border drills against, just in case terrorism comes to them, just spillover comes to them. China, Russia, Pakistan, and somewhere near the Y of the racket is India. The occupying power, which occupied them for 20 years, is at the end of the handle, 2 oceans away. This geography is going to change us here. This is my belief. It is going to change. It cannot but change us. It was always said, that Atal Bihari Vajpayee used to say very often, that you can change everything but not your neighbors. We somehow, the international system facilitated, helped in having tense relations with Pakistan and now even tense relations with China. All of that, with the coming of Taliban and the Afghan issue becoming a major issue, everybody is focused there. Americans are 2 oceans away. This will have an effect on the region. And I dare say Kashmir is part of that region.
Wow, so there was a great analogy, Mr. Naqvi. I mean, and thank you for bringing our next topic that I was about to ask you this question, but thanks for giving us this analogy. I would go to Mr. Karju and ask his opinion about, I mean, Karju Saab, when we had this discussion last year about, we have had several discussions about Kashmir issue. One of the expected action, and people were talking about that now Kashmiri Pandit will have a way forward or some path forward to go back to Kashmir. Where are we? What's the situation right now? What's the progress that government has made? Is there any roadmap that Kashmiri Pandits have to go back to Kashmir? It's been 2 years.
I have been repeatedly saying, people have not been heeding what I say. Only solution to Kashmir problem is reunification of India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh under a truly secular government, and Kashmir will be part of that government. See, this whole Kashmir problem arose because of partition. Once you break up the country on religious lines and create an Islamic state, immediately you have started problems. And therefore the solution is undo that evil which the British did. Although people say a long time has passed, 70 years have passed. All right, Germany was divided for 45 years. Was it not reunited? So time is immaterial. Only solution to the problem of Kashmir is reunification of India, Pakistan, Bangladesh under a secular government which does not tolerate religious intolerance and hatred, although upholding the right of religious freedom, but does not tolerate religious bigotry and punishes severely those who committed religious bigotry, whether Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, or anybody. This is the only solution, but it will take 20 years to realize this. Don't think that this is an easy way. There's no other solution. You
Kaji
keep,
sahab,
keep
this
on
is-
talking. Nothing will happen. Things will keep like this. And my solution will take 20 years or 25 years to realize. Till then, sorry, we can do nothing.
So Kaji sahab,
This is
this
my
is
reply.
one of the ideal situation in the world when there is a perfect world and there is a, you know, the
May
perfect.
I add to Kajju Saab?
Please, sir, go ahead.
I respect Markandeya Kajju Sahib, and he knows it, but he becomes sometimes a little too radical. What he is talking about is, according to me, yes, it is a perspective. It is a perspective one can keep. But short of that, things can happen. And the short of that, what can happen is, if there is normalcy between India and Pakistan. You see, between India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh, according to me, Bangladesh is the most cohesive, is the most culturally solid entity, because they have not discarded their pan-Indian baggage. Their culture is the culture of Calcutta.
The culture, 1 minute, the culture of Bangladesh was they broke the pandals recently in the Durga Puja. You saw what happened in Chittagong. Listen, you are talking vaguely. I am saying there's religious bigotry in Bangladesh. What are you talking?
In Assam, what we did in
Pandals were broken and Hindu pandals in Bangladesh were smashed by the bigots.
Kajju
You are forgetting
Sahib,
that.
minority there. They are not in power. In every society, there will be this lunatic fringe. And this is that fringe there. And that can be analyzed.
That lunatic fringe has to be crushed. That lunatic fringe of any religion has to be, but the politics is such that nobody will do that. So the only solution, it will take 20 years. It is inevitable. Reunification is inevitable of our subcontinent because we are one country. When I talk to a Pakistani, I don't feel any different when I'm talking to you or Irfan or anybody. We speak the same language, look like each other, our culture is the same. We are one country. India, Pakistan, Bangladesh is one country. This is an artifact. It is Pakistan is it's a fuzzy country. It is artificially created just to make Hindus and Muslims keep fighting each other so that we don't progress. This was the whole game.
Kaji sahab, Mr. Naqvi said this is your perspective, which is, you know, we respect that. But the point that Mr. Naqvi was making that, you know, I think data shows in terms of this religious intolerance and all the events that happens. I mean, I think Bangladesh is doing pretty well. I mean, all these incidents happens, but their government took actions against them. And I don't know how much truth is there, but they took pretty solid action against them. Maybe you finished your statement. You were saying something, and then we will go to Pankaj. You were.
No, I was simply saying that Bangladesh to me looks like a good, cohesive, culturally sane society. A society where Rabindranath Tagore and Qazi Nazrul Islam walk hand in hand, to me, is a very promising society. I mean, and there, when eruptions take place, it saddens me. It saddens them. Now, my point is that once there is normalcy, so once we begin to talk, say, to Pakistan, for example, I mean, just now, without your knowing it, the Pakistan junior hockey team was in India. You don't know this. Trucks are moving from Delhi via Pakistan to Afghanistan. We don't talk about it. Things are already happening. Once we are on a normalcy with that country, it will not be possible before these elections.
May I reply?
You will see, my words, sir, it will happen slowly because it is inevitable. It is written in the geography now because of Afghanistan. And I've already explained it. So once you have a degree of normalcy, doing and froing with Pakistan, communal temperatures in India drop. In Pakistan,
may I reply? May I respond? With your permission, may I respond? See, Pakistan was created so that there should not be normalcy. if not there's normalcy, then Pakistan will cease to exist. It will automatically reunite with India. The very purpose, please, no, have your facts correct. Don't live in a dream world. Pakistan was created so that there should be continuous hostility, hatred, conflicts. The very purpose of creating, there can never be normalcy, because then if there's normalcy, then Pakistan will cease to exist. There is no purpose of creating Pakistan. Don't live in a world of dreams, Mr. I respect you a lot, Saeed Saab, but there can never be normalcy.
I respect you
Pakistan
more.
was created so that there should be hatred,
I
there
think-
should not be
I think
normalcy,
so.
there should be hostility.
So,
The very purpose of creating Pakistan will disappear if there is
Raju Saab,
normalcy.
I think to that point, let me kind of let me pivot to another subject and bring in Shai. I think to that analogy, what you're saying is that just because there are two entities, there will be no normalcy. So Shai, what do you think? So do you think Palestine and Israel, the only solution is a one-state solution, like what Mr. Kaju is saying, that India and Pakistan, they have to just unite in one country? That's the only way to resolve it? Or do you believe there is a two-state solution possible? And Mr. Naqvi also said that there's a lot of oppression of Palestinians by Israelis, and maybe a two-state solution should you probably assumed or suggested. The two-state solution is the right thing.
Just one line on that one. May I say just one line on that?
Yes, sir, Mr. Naqvi.
One line on that is, it all depends, you see, from the sole superpower moment in 1990-91, Americans are becoming much more reasonable about their own power. They are beginning to realize that there are limits to power. And part of that is the attitude towards Saudi Arabia. The day the Christian Zionists in American South, once they begin to unravel, American interest, once imperial interest in the state of Israel declines, Israel will have to live in that area. And the Abrahamic Accords is already an issue, is already a project which brings it into harmony with that area. You have to live without the sole superpower. Now you have to live in the region. Abrahamic Accords are a means towards that end.
So I have so many thoughts on that topic, and I agree that the world that we're moving towards, which is multipolar. You have Chinese, Russian interests in the Middle East. You have Saudi Arabia. You have the U.S. and Israel. Somehow became a focal point for all of these folks to negotiate / fight / do business together in the same area. That creates a huge complexity, and I agree that the U.S. impact on Israel is in decline. Having said that, I personally do not believe in a one-state solution. There are two groups here that see themselves as native to the land and believe that they have a religious, biblical right to live in that land. And it is the same piece of land. Unfortunately, I think that the one-state solution would very rapidly collapse into a civil war. And I think that it is a very different case than what's going on in the cases that were discussed previously. I personally, the way I read the situation is the only way to reach a peaceful resolution is to divide the land between the two based on the location of the populations. That's the only long-term solution. Having said that, currently there is one side that wants control of the entire land, and that's the Palestinian Authority, and another one that in 8 rounds of negotiations has already offered to divide the land, and that's the Israeli side. So at the end of the day, it takes two to tango. But I don't, that's where to your question, I don't think that the one-state solution is a feasible solution in the Israeli-Palestinian context.
I think we have a consensus on that between Mr. Naqvi and Shai Kuridi, that a two-state solution is viable as long as they can stay in peace and the peace is restored. Mr. Kaju does not believe in that. He does believe that only one state solution is a solution. So let everyone have their opinion. I think Mr. Pankaj, he wanted to say something. Please, Pankaj sir.
मैं कश्मीर के बारे में ही बात करना चाहूंगा। देखिए, ये बात सही है कि काजू साहब से मैं सहमत हूँ कि पाकिस्तान को बनाया इसलिए गया था कि दोनों ये जो सब कॉन्टिनेंट है जो सबसे ज्यादा रिच है ह्यूमन रिसोर्स में, एनर्जी में, माइन मिनरल्स में, एग्रीकल्चर में, वहां पे इतना कॉन्फ्लिक्ट रहे कि जो सो कॉल्ड एडवांस कंट्रीज हैं वो ये इलाका उनकी बराबरी ना कर पाए। ये एक जमीनी हकीकत है। लेकिन मैंने जो महसूस किया, मैं पाकिस्तान भी गया हूँ और पाकिस्तान के लोगों से मुझको दुनिया के दूसरे मुल्क में भी मिलने का मौका मिला है। जब कभी भी मैन टू मैन कांटेक्ट बढ़ता है तो इस प्रकार के कॉन्फ्लिक्ट और स्ट्रेस कम होते हैं। और इबादत खाना तरीके के स्टेज का इस्तेमाल हमको कम से कम मैन टू मैन कांटेक्ट बढ़ाने के लिए कल्चर, लिटरेचर, स्पोर्ट्स जैसे मसलों पर बहुत सारे लोगों को एक जगह लाने पे करना चाहिए। सियासत का काम सियासत करना है। यदि हम लोग ऐसे लोगों को एक जगह ला सकें तो मुझे लगता है कि वो बेहतर है। ये एक बहुत ऑप्टिमिस्टिक और लॉन्ग टर्म चीज है कि एक इंडिपेंडेंट स्टेट बने या कश्मीर को लेकर जो भी है, मैं उसके पीछे बहुत सारे ताकतें काम करती हैं। मुझसे बेहतर यहाँ जाने वाले लोग हैं किस प्रकार से हथियार लॉबी पाकिस्तान में भी काम करती है और इंडिया में भी काम करती है। और उन सब लोगों के लिए बेटर होता है कि कॉन्फ्लिक्ट जोन क्रिएट होता रहे। और यदि इरफान चाहेंगे तो मैं कश्मीर पे कुछ जरूर बात करना चाहूंगा।
जरूर। आई मीन आई वाज अबाउट टू आस्क यू पंकज जी, मेरे को पूछना था, जैसे मैंने काजू साहब से पूछा सवाल पर वो डिच कर गए। डिच नहीं किया, उन्होंने अपना पर्सपेक्टिव बताया कि द ओनली सॉल्यूशन इज इफ वी इंटीग्रेट द कश्मीर, इंडिया, पाकिस्तान एंड बांग्लादेश। तो ग्राउंड रिपोर्ट क्या है पंकज जी? क्या गवर्नमेंट का क्या अभी कुछ, मैंने उनसे सवाल पूछा था कि क्या रोड मैप है वापस कश्मीरी पंडित को घाटी में बसाने का, या क्या लगता है आपको अभी?
देखो, आपको एक ही बताऊं कि श्रीनगर में 5 हत्याएं होने के बाद में 167 कश्मीरी पंडित परिवार जम्मू आ गए और मोस्टली गवर्नमेंट सर्वेंट है। लोगों के वापिस जाने की बात तो है, अभी उधर से पलायन हो रहा है। देखिए, एक मुझको भी समझ में नहीं आता है और मुझे लगता है कि जो लोग डिफेंस को समझने वाले लोग यहाँ पे है, दे कैन मोर क्लैरिफाई ऑन इट। When the more than 5 lakh security forces are already there, we have very strong system on the border. कैसे 2000 या 5000 या 5 असॉल्ट राइफल इधर आ जाती, कैसे आ जाती है
सर? 2000
अभी तक हमको यही नहीं मालूम पड़ा। हमारे यहाँ पुलवामा के अटैक में इतना बड़ा एक्सप्लोसिव आ गया, हम आज तक नहीं खोज पाए। देखिए, मैं एक चीज बताऊं कि हत्याएं और नरसंहार अंतर्राष्ट्रीय स्तर पर राजनीति का एक शर्मनाक और दुर्दांत चेहरा रहा है। मैं आपको आज की इसलिए कुछ बातों को बहुत करीबी से बता सकता हूँ क्योंकि मेरी बेटी मेरे घर पर उन बच्चों का केस लड़ रही है जिन लोगों को आज तक शायद बहुत अच्छे लोग ध्यान नहीं देते थे। अभी पिछले महीने NIA ने 21-22 लोगों को कश्मीर के, स्पेशली साउथ कश्मीर के इलाकों से उठाया और अभी तक उनमें से एक प्रेग्नेंट लेडी है और कुछ लोग हैं, उनके पास में लीगल हेल्प नहीं है। मैं आपको एक घटना बता रहा हूँ कि वहां पर किस प्रकार से लोकल लोग दलाली करते हैं। 3 दिन पहले एक एक्यूज जो दिल्ली में तिहाड़ जेल में 10 दिन से बंद है, उसका फादर मेरी बेटी को फोन करता है कि तमन्ना मैडम, ये SHO साहब से आप बात कर लो, वो कह रहे हैं कि आप वकील मत करो, कोई लीगल हेल्प मत लो, आपका लड़का 1 दिन में वापिस आ जाएगा, वो जेल में है ही नहीं। जबकि उसकी दिल्ली के पटियाला हाउस कोर्ट में पेशी हो चुकी। ये मैं आपको एक उदाहरण बता रहा हूं कि देखिए, हमको कश्मीर का केसर चाहिए, हमें कश्मीर का अखरोट चाहिए, हमें कश्मीर का टूरिज्म चाहिए, लेकिन हमको कश्मीरी नहीं चाहिए। ऐसे नहीं चलेगा। सन 2012 में जब वहां पर पंचायत चुनाव हुए थे तो 62% वोट पड़ा था। इसका मतलब है कि वहाँ की जो जमातें थी, जो लोग थे, वो जमहूरियत की ओर आना चाहते थे। फिर आखिर ऐसा क्या हुआ कि अगले ही लोकसभा चुनाव में वहां पे 8 और 9 और 11% वोट पड़ने लगे। जिस प्रकार से बीडीसी चुनाव हुए, बीडीसी चुनाव में वोट बहुत कम पड़े, लेकिन अनफॉर्चुनेटली और फॉर्चुनेटली जम्मू इलाका जहां पर बीजेपी जीतती थी, वहां पर भी गुपकार के लोगों ने सीटें जीती। और वो सत्ता के लिए एक चुनौती हो गया कि अब देखिए, पूरे देश में लोकसभा और विधानसभा क्षेत्रों का नोटिफिकेशन 2026 में होगा, 2026 में होगा। और कश्मीर में जो इलाकों का डिमार्केशन है, परिसीमन अभी किया जा रहा है। अभी परिसीमन करने का जो मुझे कारण महसूस होता है कि किसी तरीके से वहां पर चुनाव कराना चाहते हैं और चुनाव करके राजनीतिक रूप से एक मसले को सॉल्व करना चाहते हैं। लेकिन मुझे एक चीज बताइए कि 2.5 साल से कश्मीर में घाटी इलाके में बड़ी संख्या में फौज मौजूद है। वहां पर बिजनेस, स्कूल, मीडिया, ये सब ऑलमोस्ट ठप पड़ा हुआ है। अभी जो 15 दिन पहले हदरपुरा में जो वो कॉल्ड एनकाउंटर हुआ, उसके अंदर सामने मालूम पड़ गया कि आर्मी ने उठा के लोगों को ठोक दिया। देखिए, भारत की जो इस समय दिक्कत हो रही है, हमारे राष्ट्रवाद के नाम पर जिस प्रकार से फौजी या सशस्त्र राष्ट्रवाद को बढ़ावा दिया जा रहा है, वो उसी का परिणाम है कि नागालैंड में 14 श्रमिक जो कोयले की खदान में काम करते थे, वो सरेआम मार दिए जाते। उनकी लाश को तिरपाल डाल के और कोयले की राख डाल के छुपाने की कोशिश की जाती है, और रेस्ट ऑफ इंडिया में उसकी बात नहीं उठती है। मैं आपको गुजरात दंगे के आसपास की बात बता रहा हूँ। कश्मीर का मसला कभी मुसलमान का मसला नहीं था। एक दुर्भाग्य हुआ कि कश्मीर के मसले को हमने रेस्ट ऑफ इंडिया के मुसलमानों का मसला बताने की कोशिश की। गुजरात दंगे के बाद में जब श्रीनगर की जामा मस्जिद में शुक्रवार की नमाज के समय में लोगों ने बोला कि गुजरात में इतने मुसलमान मारे गए, उनको हमको उनके लिए दुआ करना चाहिए, मौलवी वीर भाई जो पूरे कॉन्फ्रेंस के लीडर हैं, उन्होंने साफ मना कर दिया कि इंडिया के लोग तो हमारे लिए कभी दुखी नहीं होते, हम उनके लिए क्यों करें। एक वो हालात थे, और आज एक ये हालत है कि यूपी का मुसलमान या मध्य प्रदेश का मुसलमान चोरी छुपे अपने घर के अंदर इस चीज को चिंतित करता है कि कश्मीरी नहीं, कश्मीर के मुसलमान को प्रताड़ित किया जा रहा है। ये हमारे सिस्टम की चूक है। तीसरी चीज मैं आपको बोलना चाहूंगा कि मैंने मान लिया कि एक बहुत बड़ी संख्या में 16, 17, 18, 20, 21 साल के लड़के सेपरेटिस्ट के रूप में निकल रहे हैं। इस देश की यूथ पॉलिसी क्या है, इस देश की एजुकेशन पॉलिसी क्या है। हम यदि 70 साल, 72, 75 साल होने को जा रहे हैं, हम 75 साल में एक ऐसी एजुकेशन पॉलिसी नहीं डेवलप कर पाए जो यंग बच्चों को देश के बारे में, देश के प्रति प्यार के बारे में, राष्ट्रीयता के बारे में, नागरिक शास्त्र के बारे में बता सके। यह हमारी कमी है। हम ऐसी कोई यूथ पॉलिसी क्यों नहीं दे पाए कि 18 और 20 साल का लड़का ये समझ पाए कि जिस दिन वो जंगजू बनता है, असला उठाता है, उसकी उम्र केवल 6 महीने रह जाती है। वो 6 महीने उम्र के लिए तैयार है। और सबसे बड़ी चीज है कि इसके अंदर जो गलत तरीके से अफवाहें उड़ाई जाती हैं कि उनको इस्लाम के नाम पर और धर्म के नाम पर और कुर्बान करने के लिए तैयार किया जाता है, ये गलत फहमी है। आप किसी 16 और 18 साल के लड़के से पूछ के देखो, उसके दिल में क्यों कश्मीर की आजादी की बात हो रही, उसके दिल में क्यों भारतीय संविधान और भारतीय फौज के बारे में नफरत की बात हो रही। क्योंकि मैं देख रहा हूँ अब भी जो दिल्ली में एनआईए ने लड़कों को उठाया, उससे 2 लड़के माइनर हैं, लेकिन उनकी जबरदस्ती एज बता दी। किसी की एफआईआर देने को तैयार नहीं थी एनआईए। आप जानते हैं, एफआईआर देने को तैयार नहीं थी। बड़ी मुश्किल से कोर्ट से लड़के एफआईआर ली गई।
So Pankaj,
basic right
this is all like there are legal issues there, and I would like to go to Mr. Karju. Karju sahab, I mean, your perspective, reunification of India and Pakistan and Bangladesh, it's the ideal thing. How about inside the India, the incidents that Pankaj ji just mentioned, all these people who are not getting any legal support, and if I may extend this topic, how about the state, the Indian states like Arunachal Pradesh, Nagaland, like Pankaj ji said, and all other states? What's going on? I mean, how can we not correct it? I mean, work on this situation here.
It's very simple to understand. Please remember that India is perpetually in an election mode. Let me explain what I mean. There are about 30 states in India. Every 6 months, 8 months, 10 months, there's election somewhere. Now UP elections are coming, Punjab. So now the only aim of the politicians in India is to win their next elections. And elections really in India run on the basis of caste and religion. Everybody knows. So our leaders are not interested in development of the country or education or anything which Mr. Pankaj ji has said. They are interested in winning the next elections. So how can you expect education to improve or the economy to improve when all our political leaders are interested in winning the next election, and elections will take place every 8 months or 10 months, some way or the other. Now UP elections are going on. Now the communal temper in UP is increasing, as we are seeing in the internet. So this is a reply. I mean, this is the reality of India. The country is perpetually in an election mode all the time. Election, nothing else. No need to look into education or economic development or anything. Only thing to look into is how to win the next elections. Country is permanently in an election mode. Every 8 months there is election somewhere. And the political leaders are not interested in development of the country or education or infrastructure. They are just interested in winning the next elections. So how can you expect any improvement? And elections, you know, are mainly on the basis of caste and religion. Even the coming UP elections, whatever may have been spoken by Pankaj ji about the farmers' agitation and so on, but I tell you, the communal angle will come in there. And 80% people in UP are Hindus. So you know who will win. Keep on talking of farmers' agitation and Jan Sangharsh and all. But when they go to vote, they forget all that. They vote on the basis of caste and religion. So now, therefore, what can you expect in this situation?
Yes, Mrs. Kaju, I think a very valid point. It's unfortunate facts of the subcontinent, and we try our best to kind of bring the bright minds and the smart people and the experts, subject matter experts in their areas. I would like to thank, since we're coming to the top of the hour here, and we really, really appreciate. I'd love to continue this discussion. It's really going great, but we are getting late in East Coast and also running out of time. So thank you, Mr. Justice Markanday Kaju. Thank you, Pankaj Chaturvedi ji. Thank you, Shai Kavidi. Thank you, Said Naqvi Saab. Really appreciate your insight. This is live and this will be available online as well as a recording on YouTube channel. Wish and hope we'll have this conversation again. I'll end with this event, the webinar tonight with basically on behalf of Ibadat Khan, I would like to extend our heartfelt condolences over the demise of General Bipin Rawat, his wife, and 11 other armed force personnel who lost their lives in an unfortunate accident in South India. We extend deep solidarity with the bereaved family this hour of grief and pray for the forbearance to bear this huge loss. Again, thank you so much, and have a good evening and good morning in India. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.